I'd like to welcome you back. So, I hear this question quite often. Why are Jews so wealthy? Why are they so successful? And I'm going to try to clarify some facts and give an answer just based on simple logic. First of all, it's not true. Before we continue, you need to know that it is just simply not true. And I think the reason why people think that all Jews are so successful is because of a certain presentation that we have. When the average Jewish child goes to school, they are trained to dress a certain way. And in our society, dressing that way is equivalized with being wealthy. So if you see a young man and he wears a white shirt or a colored button-down shirt with a nice pair of pants, simple shoes, maybe a hat and a jacket, so it comes across with a certain amount of class. Now, I know many people that don't spend a lot of money on their clothing. It may seem like they're successful, but truth of the matter be, their clothing may have cost less than the one t-shirt that somebody else is wearing. But when you see a guy walking with jeans and a t-shirt or something like that, as you might often quite see me dressed, you're not going to get this feeling that the person is successful. A lot of Jews have beards, this adds to this stigma, this aura, but it's not necessarily true. We give off this presentation that might perhaps seem that way. Now, with that aside, I will tell you why a lot of Jewish people are successful. And the reason is simply because, first of all, we go to school where we have very, very long hours. We are very used to working hard. The average public school is finished by 2, 3 o'clock. Since we're young children, we have long days. A young child comes home at 5, 6 o'clock, isn't off the bus till maybe 6, 7. As you get older, you're barely ever at home. I mean, it's all about school, all about studying. So working hard is something we're used to. It's not something that's out of the ordinary. Putting in extra hours till 9, 10 o'clock is something that the boys are already used to in high school. So this leads to more energy, more effort that will produce more. Another thing is that when somebody's successful, it makes a loud bang. But when somebody's not successful, it doesn't. Meaning there are many people that struggle, but you don't know about it because you're only hearing about those people that are super successful. They think that the Jews are running the media and Hollywood and all these things. I don't know about that. I know I'm not anywhere near there. The other thing is, and this is a really, really big one, is our social structure. The way our social structure works is that we are on display. We are not in the audience, is the way I like to explain it. The average Christian, the average Catholic, they go to church and there is a preacher, whether it's the priest or whomever, that gets up there and then they listen and they work on themselves based on what they're told. The way the Jewish religion works is very, very different. We're a very active religion. All the way from when a child is young, even bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, they make a speech. We have this setup where you don't just sit back and observe, but you're involved. You can lead the congregation in prayers. It's always somebody else. Many people give different kinds of classes and lessons, but we're trained to be leaders in that we lead each other. We don't just follow. Another thing is the social network, the actual structure of how we live. You can have a billionaire sitting next to a pauper in the same synagogue, And that is just completely usual. We have multi-millionaires, even billionaires, that live on the same block where there might be people that are really, really struggling. And this gives opportunity because now you're rubbing elbows with people that can really help you and really put you in a position to be more successful than if you're in a neighborhood where you're only with like leveled income people. Makes it very difficult to break out. Also, you make this impression. So now when you're in the synagogue and you're leading the prayers, and this is a very heartfelt religion, and we're very attached to God and to each other, and we are preached the two very important things is to be bonded with God, but also to be bonded with each other. And so therefore, it really makes for a very good network because everybody's even. Once the prayer book is open and once everybody is studying or praying, we don't have this concept of, oh, he's better or he's better. So a person can really get to know another person's inside, their soul, their heart, and make good decisions based on if they want to bring that person into their life, regardless of if they're 10 levels lower financially. So that really, really helps. Another thing is that for the most part, money in a community is brought in from the outside. What I mean by that is that when you have a community, yep, you have the local grocery store and that guy makes a living and the pharmacy and a couple of things like that. But for the most part, the money is brought in from outside. I live in New York. People go to the city, they have these jobs, and then they bring the money back into the community. In the Jewish community, a very big difference is that a lot of money is made within the community. Because we have to have all these special things, certain clothing, certain Jewish items, things that we need for different holidays, kosher food, just so many things that it makes a network within the Jewish community. So it would be where in a regular community, perhaps you would have 90% of the money coming in from outside the community and very little money in the community. I would say maybe in our community, it's like 60 or 70% maybe the money that comes outside of the community, but a lot of money is made within the community. So this gives opportunities for hustlers to go out there and make money. You might not have a law degree or a medical degree, but there are more opportunities for a guy who's ready to hustle, rent a truck, rent a store, grab some items, move things from here to there. So this gives people an opportunity to make more money. So the way I see it, it's not really that we are, so much more wealthy, but that we have this network and this look and all these things that all tie together that give the impression that we are such a successful community, where in truth, really, it's not really different than anyone else. We just have a very, very good network. Another piece, I'm trying not to get spiritual about this. I'm trying to give all the answers from a very practical, logical point. I'm trying not to forget anything, is we are super, super into charity. I find it very ironic that Jews have this reputation of being cheap and things like that. I could say it because I'm a Jew. It's the furthest thing from the truth. We are so generous, both with charity, whether it is an official charity, I'm giving money to this person, or unofficial charity, I'm welcoming, I'm loving, things like that. The world would do really well to learn from a lot of the way that our network is set up. But the short answer is no, not every Jew is wealthy, and a lot of people struggle, but we do give off possibly this impression because of the mixture of all the things that I've said. But I think most of all, because when you see a person dressed a certain way and then you identify them with other people that dress similarly, so in your head you're thinking, okay, I know that guy's wealthy, so they must be wealthy. But it's just not so. A couple more things I just want to say. First of all, because of the way our religion works, there is a serious commitment to commitment. We cannot give up. We know that in the rules of our religion, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. And whether you like it or not, there's no quitting. And so I think that that plays over to work ethic. For example, we have fasts during the year where it doesn't matter how you feel. You have to keep going on. Sabbath, it doesn't matter if you're not in the mood. You have to keep it. There are just different things where we have such a commitment, so we learn to stay focused on something. The next thing is trust. Trust is a very big element that we don't want to mess with. It'll take you very, very far in our world if you're trusted. And that is something that you just want to really, really hold on to. And the last thing is good old Jewish chutzpah, which in English would roughly be translated into rudeness. We have a very abrupt, rough way of doing certain things to save time that accomplishes. In the non-Jewish world, you would have to have more manners. Anyone who works in the Jewish world knows that sometimes it could be very abrupt, but it accomplishes things. Another thing is that I think we might approach challenges differently than most people. Most people, when they feel challenged, it's very overwhelming, feels very threatening, and some people might give up. In the Jewish world, we see challenges as a part of our heritage. Challenges is throughout the entire history of the Jewish people, all the way from the forefathers until each person. And so when we're met with a challenge, we have a solution for it. We pray, we open up our hearts to God. That's not to say that people who are not Jewish don't. I'm just explaining, as far as Judaism is concerned, that we don't let challenges get us down. In fact, we have a strategy for it, and usually it makes a person stronger. Anyways, so I hope that that's all helpful. And I truly hope you subscribe. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to seeing you back.